All right, May 9th workout. We're gonna activate first with 2 rounds, 30-second seats of jumping jacks, single leg bridge, and then a hollow body tuck. So jumping jacks, I know you know. At the top, just make sure your elbows are bent and your arms aren't straight. Jumping jacks, 30 seconds. Then I'm gonna flip over to a single leg bridge. So resting my head on the floor, I'm gonna pull my knee into my chest so that it tucks my tail a little bit of a hollow body. So I usually say pretend, or actually put your cell phone on your belly and pinch it with your quad and see if you can keep that cell phone pinched as you lift up. So you're gonna lift up for 30 seconds on this side. Again, really, really pull that quad into your belly. 30 seconds on the other side. If you notice, my hips aren't actually going that high. If I was to really lift up and use more of my low back, then I'm getting higher, but that's not the point. So you're just trying to activate the glutes. So 30 seconds of those, and then a hollow body tuck. So I'm pulling my knees towards my face and my face towards my knees. It's both of these things. So I'm getting my shoulders off the floor, but also trying to physically lift my hips off the floor. Your feet can be kind of wherever, but I'm pulling those two pieces together, trying to round the back. But I think a lot of people forget about that low hip and they just get like the shoulders off the floor. So just 2 rounds of that, and then anything else you need to warm yourself up. The activation is always after your warm up. So do your general warm up, moving things around, and then you've got this little bit to activate. For the actual WOD, if you're using a timer, you're just gonna do 1.5 minutes of work and then 30 seconds of work for 15 rounds. Using the SmartWOD timer is the easiest thing. It's free to download SmartWOD timer. You're gonna choose the Tabata setting, 15 rounds, 1.5 minutes, so 1 minute and 30 seconds of work, and then 30 seconds of rest. When you're looking at the WOD, everything that's odd is gonna be 1.5 minutes of work. That's your strength piece. And all the even numbers are gonna be our cardio pieces, and those are gonna be for 30 seconds. You're doing those during the rest period of the timer. The Tabata timer just has a work rest ratio, so that's why we're using it. Okay, so 1 arm side carry deadlift is gonna be the first one. So you have 1.5 minutes of this. So you're gonna put your weight, your pack, kettlebell, whatever you have on one side. I'm gonna show you from 2 different angles, and I'm gonna do a deadlift on one side. So that kettlebell, that weight could touch the floor, or maybe you're just going to like a shallow position because maybe your hamstrings are tight. If you have a pack and it's kind of, long, you could stand on some books so that your feet are higher, and then you've got room to drop that weight to the floor. As I do this, my body is even, so I'm not compensating or going asymmetrically. It's 1.5 minutes, so I would do about 40 seconds on the left, 40 seconds on the right. Hi, P. You gotta go back upstairs, okay? Yeah. Okay, so that's your deadlift for 1.5 minutes. Then you have skaters. So a skater, kind of like I'm a speed skater, hopping from side to side. Once you get the coordination, you can go a little faster. You can try to go for distance. Regardless, I'm using my arms to really, in the middle, get me to jump. My foot is just going kind of behind me. The one thing that I notice people do wrong with this is they don't bend their legs. So they hop from their ankle, like that. You do want to bend your knee from side to side. It's going to help with your balance. It's going to help cushion your landing, and it's going to help you jump. The other thing is I'm not putting my foot down. A lot of people do this, kind of like they're dancing. So you're trying to get some work in that leg, so try not to put your back leg down unless you absolutely have to. None of those things are gonna hurt you, but you wanna perform it a little more athletic so things are on. Your third one, 1.5 minutes here, is the single arm row. So with that same weight, I'm gonna put my forearm on my quad. Try to not put your hand on your quad because it makes you basically just do an upright row. So I'm gonna be bent over. I'm gonna pull that weight back towards my hip. My elbow comes up. You can even hold this for a second and then slowly lower down, especially if the weight is lighter. If you have a band, you could step on the band, tie it through the kettlebell, and then you've got that resistance to add, or to your dumbbell, resistance added to that weight. Same thing, you got about 40 seconds on the left, 40 seconds on the right. So just kind of keep an eye on the timer. so that you are splitting it at the halfway. Pretty simple on that. The fourth one, going back to that 30 seconds to raise the heart rate, we have alternating jump jack touchdowns. I really love these. So I'm kind of doing a jumping jacks with my legs, and then I'm touching the floor, alternating my hands from the side. I am half squatting. I'm not forward folding. So the fold, this one would be doing like a forward fold. You actually want to get down with your legs. The fifth piece, going back to like the strength piece, we're going to do a staggered stance swing. This one also, you're switching at the halfway. So we've done a staggered stance swing previous to this, so it should be a little easier. Staggered stance, all my weight is on one leg. My knees are in line with each other. I just have a kickstand foot. So if you just pick up your foot and put it down where it lands, that's where your foot stays. You don't want it too far back because then you'll put weight on it. And you want to be up on the ball of your foot. Again, your knees should be in line. So a normal kettlebell swing, right? Except for I have one arm and my one leg is doing all the work, but the motions are the same, right? Let me show you from the side. My hips physically move back, and then I extend my knee and my hip at the same time and hold them there while the kettlebell comes up. I also wait to the last minute to catch the kettlebell. The fault with that one, I would say, is putting too much weight on your leg, having your leg way back here. I just move my knees open out of the way, basically. And the other fault I would say is that people don't bend their knees, so they kind of hinge, and they stay like in this area, but they don't actually bend their knee and make their leg do the work. All right. You're gonna switch at the halfway for that one too. It's also the opposite hand. So if my right leg is working, my left hand has the weight. Whenever you do a kettlebell swing, thumb in the bum is usually how I hold it. It makes it a little bit easier. So those are your staggered stance swings. Heart rate, back up, side shuffle. So I'm showing you here, but if you had more space, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. So if you didn't have a lot of space, you could do like a 1 side shuffle. So just making it work. Okay, then we have switch hand reverse lunges. So with your same weight, dumbbell, kettlebell, I'm gonna do a reverse lunge and just switching hands at the top. I'm kind of like throwing it to the other hand, but you could always pause, switch to make it work. You got a minute and a half of work. It should be obvious that the weight should be in this hand because my leg is back and out of the way and it's not hitting the leg that I'm bending. That wouldn't make any sense. So that's your switch hand lunge, reverse lunges. When you do a reverse lunge, my knee should be underneath my hip, and this knee should be over my ankle, or it could even be over the middle of the foot, so over your shoelaces, that's fine. I'm up pretty tall, my shoulders are back. Back to the heart rate, we're gonna do high knees. When you do high knees, you're looking for a fast turnover and then the height of the knee, not getting your knees up here and then trying to go fast. What I mean by that is, if your high knees are down here, that's okay. This is okay. This is not high knees. Even though they're getting up, my cadence is too slow. So I want that fast cadence and then also try to get your knees up really high. So that's your high knees for 30 seconds. The last one, something a little bit new. I'm gonna do a kettlebell swing partnered with a squat. With this one, what I would do is either like pick a number like 3 and just keep it even, 3 and 3, but you can kind of go like 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5. Maybe you keep going up, maybe you go down. So I'm gonna give you a little bit of leeway to play with this one. So what I'm gonna do, with my kettlebell in front of me, just like I would start with a kettlebell swing, it starts in front, and then I pick it up behind and do my swing. So I'll do a couple swings, and then I'm gonna let it go down. It goes back in front, right, where I normally dismount. I'm gonna jump to it, pick it up, squat 3 times, and then I'm gonna put it back down, kind of behind me, jump back, go back into my swing. So 1, 2, then go forward, jump up, 1, 2. This doesn't have to be fast. I'm gonna put it down sort of behind me so I can jump back. I'm not gonna lie, it's a little wobbly with this little kettlebell on my mat. So if you feel uncomfortable, you can just, jump back without putting too much weight on it. You don't have to jump back. You can just do some kettlebell swings, rest, pick it back up, do some squats. You can kind of play with that. You can easily do this with a pack, easily do this with a weight. It doesn't have to be a kettlebell to perform that same movement. You could also put the weight down, use your hands to jump back, so you aren't actually putting your weight on the kettlebell. You are down pretty low for a lot of it, so the legs are gonna get some work. Just make sure you are using your legs and you're not forward folding. The last 30 seconds is a lateral A-skip. So our normal A-skips look like this. So it is high knee, step, step, back to the high knee, step, step, high knee. So it's alternating. You're gonna do that same thing, except for we're not moving forward, we're gonna be moving to the side. So my inside knee comes up, step, step, inside knee. So just to get the coordination. And then when I go fast, so knee, step, step, knee. My inside knee is up, my opposite elbow is coming with it. And then you can pick up the pace. If the coordination just isn't there, you can do this, sort of like a Heisman, so you're still letting that inside knee come up, you could do that. Or you can go back to the high knees if the coordination just isn't there. You're gonna do 3 rounds of that, so it'll take you 30 minutes. If you're using the smartwatch timer, you're just gonna set it for 15 rounds and it'll take you through 3 times. Whenever you set the smartwatch timer at the bottom, it'll tell you in parentheses your total workout time. So that's always helpful to make sure you're on the right track. That should be it for May 9th. Good luck, guys.